figured in addition to the prior video that I had showing my best loadouts for the Titans in the technical test, I figured it'd be prudent to walk through how to actually play with the Titans and be the best pilot you can be. Currently in the technical test we have Ion and Scorch, and I'm going to start with Scorch. So his R1 is a thermite launcher, and the keyword here is that it ignites the impact area. So this is his primary way of dealing damage. It sort of lobs a projectile out that's not hit scan. It is a projectile, and it is very much lobbed. It does come at an angle, and when this hits an area, it sort of explodes into this light AoE that spreads out from the center and lingers for a little bit of time. His core is flame core, and this is basically a triangle. If one of the points is your Titan, the other two extend out, and it extends out fairly wide in a horizontal arc, and it's pretty deep. And this is a huge wave of flame that extends from him. It deals massive amounts of damage. The firewall is his R1. This is a thin line like flame wave or flame wall in any other game, but it extends from his right hand and then gets pushed out in a straight line. Thermal shield is his L1, his shielding ability. This one differentiated from vortex shield in that it doesn't absorb projectiles and push them back out. It simply burns through them. But also this does deal damage at close range. You are able to just hold L1 and walk into an enemy Titan or pilot and burn them, and it deals massive damage. The incendiary trap that he has on triangle is a canister that he throws out that doesn't do anything inherently. It just gets lobbed and then sticks to whatever it falls on, and then it sort of ignites or leaks out this gas around it, this green gas around it. If you use any of your other fire abilities in that area, or if you lob a canister in that area, that will ignite, and that's basically his bread and butter combo. You want to throw the incendiary trap and then combo that with another ability to ignite it, basically. So the thermite launcher, again, the flame core, the firewall, the thermal shield, and the incendiary trap, all his kit works together beautifully. He's able to output so much damage in such a short period of time compared to Ion that Scorch is really good at dealing with enemy Titans, completely shutting down lanes. He's not that great about dealing with enemy pilots, especially if they have the high ground, simply because his R1 is like a grenade launcher. It does get lobbed, and it's hard for him to shut down that avenue. Like throw an incendiary trap on the top of the tower in Homestead and then ignite it. It's hard, it takes a lot of time, and you're going to take a lot of damage trying to do that. But everything combos into each other so beautifully. You're able to cancel the thermite launcher into the firewall and then throw an incendiary trap while there's still fire there to ignite all of that beautifully. He's a great defensive option and offensive option. So the kits, diving into their customization, again, there's not that much. I stick to the same loadout I had in my prior video. Assault chip, turbo engine or overcore, warp fall and bubble shield, and then wildfire launcher and inferno shield. Again, I stick to turbo engine, warp fall, and the wildfire launcher. There's not that many options, competitive options in my opinion. I think these are the three best ones to pick through. So spending more time on the combos, the incendiary trap is what you want to combo into. You don't want to start the combo with that because it doesn't deal any damage by itself, and if an enemy Titan or pilot sees you lobbing it, it's not too hard to just move out of the way with a quick dash. The key thing to note is when you use the thermite launcher or the firewall, they burn for a little period of time afterwards, meaning you're able to use R1, hit a Titan, and then pop triangle, in order to have it explode on him, basically, rather than throwing the thermite down or throwing the incendiary trap down, hoping that he doesn't notice and stands inside of it and then igniting it. If there's Titan that just got called down, of course you can throw the incendiary traps around it and wait for the bubble shield to run out, or you can throw the incendiary traps down just to threaten that you're going to cover a certain area. Generally, the more experienced pilots won't challenge you in an area that you've thrown an incendiary trap down in, which in most cases is probably what you want them to do. You want to just shut off that entire lane of them pushing up and just control that space. So you kind of achieve the same effect even if they don't challenge you on that. But even in certain cases where you're behind, let's say you've had a huge Titan on Titan fight and your team lost 3 Titans and they have 4 that are weak. There's been multiple cases, granted this is against probably just random public games that I've been playing, but where I'm the last Titan on my team and the other 3 or the other 4 are just trying to push me and kill me to keep that Titan advantage, and I'm able to just back off and retreat and have them walk through damage over time, over damage over time, over damage over time. His kit and durability is great. He's also able, like I mentioned earlier, to actually hit confirm with the thermite launcher and incendiary trap, but also cancel moves. If you've played a fighting game before, like Ryu, you can cancel a crouching medium kick into a fireball, so you don't actually get the full crouching medium kick animation. The same thing with Scorch. You can hit R1 and then just you can hit R2, sorry, to actually throw the thermite launcher, and then cancel that into another move. You're able to throw the incendiary trap, hit the firewall. When he's reloading, you're able to cancel the last couple frames of that with the thermal shield in order to get that back a little bit faster, possibly avoid some damage. But if you're in a close range fight, you're able to burn them a little bit more. So he does have some unique characteristics in his kit that help him just better output damage. So the ranges with him, you want to stick at close and medium range, as evidenced by the kit and the way that it plays together. Long range is not his specialty, and being on the lower ground is not his specialty because of the nature of the way it arcs and what you need to be triggering with his combos. You really want to be above the opponent, or at least on the same level playing field in close range or in mid range. Long range, none of your abilities are really going to do anything. The firewall won't even get that far, flame core won't even reach that far. Incendiary traps, maybe you'll reach that far if you aim into the sky and launch it at a 45-degree angle, but by the time they actually get there, the Titan's not going to be there anymore. Thermite launcher is really your only option at that range, and you just have to hope that you hit their body. Again, not very many options at that range. I generally just try to avoid those engagements, pull out and maneuver to a better spot. But because everything is able to be lobbed over, in those mid and close range fights, you're able to stick behind a wall and just lob grenades over that wall, or set up avenues with the trap and then close those down with the thermite launcher when they get close. And the thermal shield, like I mentioned earlier, burns up Titans. So especially if you happen upon an unexpected an enemy that doesn't expect you, or a Titan that's bubble shield just wore off and the pilot's trying to get in it, you can completely destroy from those closer ranges, especially if you have time to set up and just drop 2 traps. Okay, as soon as the bubble shield goes down, you're going to ignite those, hit firewall, walk in, thermal shield, and completely burn through it. One thing to note is he does damage himself with his own thermite, so you don't want to be walking over your own damage over time, because it does you can deal damage to yourself, and the damage is significant. He can quite quickly kill himself if you're not paying attention and just holding forward on the controller, at least in the technical test. So, how do you deal with pilots as Scorch? Well, as Scorch, you don't really have very many good options in dealing with a pilot. The only option that you have that can kill them in one hit is the thermite launcher. Oh, also the flame core if you use flame core on a pilot. The thermite launcher hitting the pilot will kill them. That's the only tool that you have that is a one-shot kill against a pilot. And because it's a grenade launcher and it's a projectile, you have to aim it above them or aim it so they walk into it. It's not as simple or as easy as Ion, for instance, who has the little charge beam that just instantly kills a pilot. But what you are able to do is quickly clear out rooms or, again, rooftops or alleyways with the incendiary trap and the thermite launcher and the firewall, to just kind of smoke them out. If they're poking at you from inside a building, lob a trap in there and then ignite it with thermite, and generally that'll clear the area, especially on bounty hunt, where near the end of the wave people are running back to the banks. You can quite quickly and easily hold down a bank using the toolkit that he has. And the thermal shield does burn up pilots pretty fast. So if you're able to walk up to a pilot, don't bother punching them. Just hold L1 and walk into them and they'll die. Now, dealing with rodeos, he doesn't have any specific unique options in dealing with rodeos, except that you're able to pop the same electric smoke that both the Titans have once you get that, or waiting until they eject and then sort of walking backwards and holding your thermal shield up because they have the battery icon and because they're lit up. You can sometimes burn them before they land, but generally he's not great at getting a gooser because the thermite launcher. You can do it, but it's pretty rare to do. So if a pilot is challenging you and rodeoing you, the best option is honestly to have a teammate clear them off of you, because he isn't great by himself. Yeah, you can get out, but then it's a 50-50 mix-up of whether you kill them or whether he jumps off with the battery and then grapples back on, and then it's not a great scenario. How to deal with Titans. Close to medium range, again, is where you want to be as Scorch, and you are able to do this sort of hit and run game, area denial game, which is my preferred play style with him. But because of the durability that he has, if it does come down to a Titan on Titan fight, you generally have the hit points, the durability, and the damage to win the day if you play properly using his kit. Burning them up, again, not using the incendiary trap as the first thing, because you can combo into it on a hit. Use the firewall once the Titan walks into it, then throw an incendiary trap into it. When you're fighting against another Scorch, the thermal shield is basically there to soak up other thermite launcher attacks. So you want to burn up theirs so they don't even get their combo started. And splitter rounds. Generally, if you fight an Ion and the Ion player is smart, it'll be about at a long to extremely long range where the Ion is just poking at you with their charge beam. And in that case, you just want to back off. There's really nothing you can do to challenge in that situation. But, like I mentioned, because they're essentially grenades, you are able to lob them over walls, over different bits of cover, and get them into places that Ion, for instance, can't hit. Like if you aim up, you can sort of angle it over buildings, so it Hail Marys its way onto certain objectives or onto certain bounty spots to clear those out. And one final thing to note is his kit, basically the firewall and flame core ignore verticality. from what I've seen in the technical test, if you're, for instance, standing on top of forward base Kodai and you're looking through that little gap, if you hit R1 for the firewall, it'll slide along the top and then immediately just go to the bottom floor. Same thing with Flame Core. If you hit that Flame Core button at the top, it'll keep going on the bottom. So they do ignore verticality. Slight hills and stuff won't stop those abilities from triggering appropriately. So it's even better when he's on the high ground, because firewall doesn't just stop working. Like once it hits the end of the cliff, it'll just keep going, like on the new level of terrain. But that's generally the way that I play Scorch. Hopefully that's useful, and let me know what you guys have been finding successful with Scorch. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to get more info before this game comes out. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe for more Titanfall content throughout the weekend, and especially when the game drops. And I will catch you guys in the next episode.